Good evening, people, or good morning if you are in the USA. This is Nights with Ping. Well, it's night time for me. It's almost 10 p.m. here in Melbourne, Australia. I hope you're all doing well. Just checking my microphone, make sure it's down low. How are you all in the chat? I saw a few people out there. Kaza T is here. Laura T is here. Kathy Lynch. Laura G. Marilyn Landis is here. Hey, Marilyn Landis. And Woos is here. Hey, Woos, how are you? Really, yeah, very early morning over in the US, about 6:30 a.m. on the East Coast. It is about 3 a.m. on the West Coast. So I don't think we'll get many of our West Coast people in here. But I wanted to do this. This is really big news coming out of Victoria, Australia, my state where I live. Let's get to it. Really big news. I can't wait to share this. After I went on that big rant yesterday about how there's been no movement in this case, we get today is like everything happened. Erin Patterson has been charged with murder. She's also been charged with attempted murder, 3 counts of murder, 5 counts of attempted murder. Uh, 3 counts of murder relate to the July 29th meal that we all know about. Two of the attempted murder charges are for the same day. The other three attempted murder charges are for her estranged former husband, Simon Patterson, when he was sick between 2021 and 2022. That's what those are for. 3 counts of attempting to murder him when apparently he fell ill after eating meals that she prepared during this period. So that information we got early on about him suspecting of, like, he suspected her of poisoning him, 100% correct by the looks of it. Homicide Squad detectives have been really busy today interviewing her. One of the things I noticed is apparently she summoned her lawyer, so she has asked for legal representation. I guess because of the enormity of the charges, that's probably something most people would do, I guess. But there is video of her lawyer leaving the police station. Now, she has been transported to a different location tonight. She is heading to Morwell for court in the morning, and she is due to appear tomorrow morning Australian time. So she's actually taking a bit of a trip right now. I'll show you it if I can show you. Oh, am I on the right page? Yep. So this is what her law heading into actually leaving the leaving the police station today, and we get some buffering. There we go. Just taken off. Off she goes. Bye, lawyer. And here is there's also the detectives left, the homicide squad detectives from Melbourne left. And here it is, Erin Patterson leaving Wonthaggi police station, about an hour ago now. There you go. You can see, you can actually see her. It looks like her hand is actually up to her face here, trying to hide her face. I'm not sure why. We all seem to know her identity. We seem to know who she is, and there's 100 photos of her, but she does have what looks like her hands up to her face. At least I think so. It's hard to tell. Those privacy screens are a bit blocking, but to me it looks like a hand up around her face, trying to block cameras from taking photos. Um, yeah, off she goes to Wonthaggi, 8:15 tonight. It's about, yeah, an hour and 15 minutes ago. So she's going to take the trip to Morwell, be placed into custody there until she is due to appear. Paygirl says camera guys are really on it. Yep, they were definitely on it. They've been waiting there all day. Hold on, let me see if I can get my camera on. Hey guys, how are you? I'm still here. I'm still here. It's been a long day of covering this. This is my second live show for today. Um, So apparently the press had been waiting there all day. There was a video, if I can find it, but they'd been there 5, 6 hours outside the police station waiting. I think everyone had a pretty good idea that she would be charged today. You don't do a raid like that after 2 months and then don't bring, charges, especially when they knew they were gonna be questioning her. They were ready to close out this case and send it on to the next step, which is court, and see if we can get a conviction. I think that is a great thing. I think for all the victims, so many victims. Kathy Lynch says, "Can someone remind me where this happened?" Where this happened in Victoria, Australia. Happened in a place called Leongatha. So it's up in the country areas of Victoria. So very, very interesting. Kazza T says, "I forgot the fact that she was suspected allegedly previous suspicions by the husband. Yes, he got sick. He was in hospital for a period of time, almost died from a mystery stomach ailment, and it looks like maybe she has poisoned him with something." Now, I was thinking about this earlier, and I don't think it was mushrooms that time. I was thinking something like antifreeze or eye drops, maybe. Maybe she tried a different method the first time and it didn't work the way she wanted it to. But, because the symptoms were very different the first time he was in hospital. It was a stomach complaint. It wasn't as much what these other people had, which is, you know, it was more to do with the mushrooms and system shutdown and liver problems. He had stomach and intestinal issues. So I have a funny feeling it's something like antifreeze or Um, yeah, eye drops, something easy to get. Kathy Lynch said she served mushrooms at a family dinner, right? Yes, it was a get together for a lunch or an afternoon meal, and she served a meal of beef. What's the name of it now? Now I can't remember. Beef Wellington. Beef Wellington was the dish that she made, and it contains mushrooms in the traditional way to cook it. And yeah, I am more interested to find out what the dehydrator, if anything, has to do with this. That would be a very interesting piece of evidence if we can figure that out. But I can read some of the article. I haven't read any of it yet. I've just been speaking from my memory, so I can read what it actually says. It says Erin Patterson has been charged with 3 counts of murder over the poisonous mushroom meal that led to the deaths of 3 of her relatives 4 months ago. Patterson was arrested at her home in Leongatha in Victoria's Gippsland region on Thursday morning before police spent the day painstakingly scouring the property. She spent 5 hours being questioned by detectives at Wonthaggi Police Station before police announced charges being laid around 7:30 p.m. It was actually 7:19 p.m. Patterson was charged with 3 counts of murder along with 5 counts of attempted murder. 4 of the attempted murder charges involved her estranged husband Simon Patterson. The murder charges and 2 of the attempted murder charges relate to the July 29th mushroom lunch, where 4 of Erin Patterson's relatives fell ill following a meal at her home. Heather Wilkinson, Heather's sister Gail Patterson, and her husband Don Patterson, both 70, all died in August in the days after eating Erin's beef Wellington. The Pattersons were the parents of Miss Patterson's estranged husband Simon, who was also meant to attend the lunch but skipped the meal at the last minute. Miss Wilkinson's husband, Baptist church pastor Ian Wilkinson, 68, was the sole survivor but was left critically ill and spent almost 2 months in hospital. The 3 other attempted murder charges relate to 3 separate incidents involving Erin Patterson's estranged husband, Simon Patterson. The further 3 attempted murder charges relate to 3 separate incidents in Victoria between 2021 and 2022. It is alleged a 48-year-old Corumburra man became ill following meals on these dates. Very interesting. Erin Patterson was remanded in custody and will spend Thursday night behind bars before appearing at Morwell Magistrates Court on Friday morning. So she'll be in court tomorrow morning. And there's some photos of her being led into the police station. That interesting IT dog. Homicide Squad Inspective Detector Homicide Squad Detective Inspector Dean Thomas said the charges are just the next step in what has been an incredibly complex, methodical, and thorough investigation. He goes on to say the investigation has been subjected to incredibly intense levels of public scrutiny and curiosity. He says he wants to let everyone know that not just the, family is affected, but the entire town is affected by events like this and can have ripple effects for many years to come, and that everyone should sort of think about the victims in all of this. And he wanted to make that a big point about, you know, while this is very exciting that she has been arrested and charged, there's other people out there who are, you know, suffering, including the town, people in it, possibly business owners who have been by association tagged into this in the local area. Very, yeah, there's a lot of people who are affected by this in different ways. He says here in smaller communities such as Leongatha and Korumburra, a tragedy such as this can reverberate for years to come. He says, I know that people will no doubt have many unanswered questions about this matter. However, I urge people to be especially mindful of unnecessary speculation and not sharing misinformation. Our thoughts today are with the families of those impacted, and we will continue to ensure they are provided with all the necessary support they need. Earlier in the day, forensic experts were spotted rifling through a crowded garage attached to the home. Combing through the interior of her SUV, detectives brought in specially trained technology detector dogs that can sniff out USB memory cards and SIM cards to help scour the property. I wonder if she had a burner phone and she was talking to someone else. That's what I wonder, because this is such a um, specific thing to ask the AFP to bring in. Do you know what I mean? It's such a hyper, specific type of thing they must have been looking for. And I wonder if she had some sort of burner phone and then she had been corresponding with someone. I'm not sure who, but maybe someone, a friend or something like that. Marilyn Landis says, "How big is Victoria?" Victoria's look. It's not a tiny state. What is going on here? Victoria's not a tiny state. It's fairly large. I can show you something. Hold on. Victoria, Australia is 227,000 kilometers surrounding it, I guess, covering the size of 227,600 square kilometers, the rough size of the British Isles. So it's fairly big. Not the biggest state in Australia, but I can show you this here. This is Victoria in the red here. And you can see compared to other states, it's not quite as big, but it actually has the second biggest population other than Sydney. So for a smaller state, it has quite a lot of people because people love it here. It's a great state. Victoria is amazing. It's an adopted home for me. I wasn't born here, and I love it here. So it's a great state. It's pretty big, yeah. Kathy Lynch says, "Do we know why she did it? Bad marriage, affair, insurance?" No, we don't have a motive right now. It could be anything. We'll find out when she goes to court, I reckon. Now, I expect her to go to court tomorrow. I expect her to have bail formally refused. She'll be then remanded in custody. If that didn't already happen tonight, sometimes they have what they call like an out of session judge. So a judge will come to the police station and she'll be seen in person inside the police station. Now, that has happened before, but I'm not sure if it's happened in this case. So, if not, she will be remanded in custody tomorrow, formally refuse bail due to the severity of the charges. Then, following that, they will do a court date sometime in next year, could be February, March next year, for initial proceedings So that'll be her first time in court, besides tomorrow. So tomorrow will be a very quick thing. It'll basically be over in about 5 minutes. And then the longer one will be next year. Next year will be more like, I think she might have to plead not guilty or guilty, and then they'll see if there's enough evidence to send it to trial. And so we'll have a few of those court dates early in the new year. Kazati says it'll take the community a long time to get their heads around what has happened. Yes, especially since this particular family is so involved with the church. They know a lot of people. Can you show us on that map where you live? Can you see my mouse? If I do that, can you see the mouse going around? I wonder if you guys can see my little pointer. Let me check the stream. Is it on this share this page instead? There you go. Can you see the mouse going on the red? Let's have a look. I'll see if that comes through. Oh, you guys can. Okay. So I live about here. I know it's hard to see. I don't know if I can zoom in. Oh, I can. Hold on. It's a bit slow. So I live here. Right here. Just before this little like nook in the bay here. I live just here. Right there. That's where I live in Victoria. Melbourne City is here. And this is Geelong over here, like around this area. Geelong's here, I think. And yeah. So we all live around this bay. If you live in Melbourne and Geelong, you're all situated around this bay here, and the city's right at the top, right here, of the what they call Port Phillip Bay. So I live on this side. We call this the southeast of Melbourne. So I live Bayside Southeast. There you go. Yeah, we'll show them where Woos lives. Woos lives up. It's not even. It doesn't even look like it's in the right place, does it? Woos lives here. I'll show if I can see you here. Woos lives over here. Over here. I think so, right? Woos, that's ACT. Looks like it's in the wrong spot though, but I guess that's right. Woos lives over here. So sort of just above Victoria, but southern New South Wales. Woos lives here. This is the ACT. This is the Australian Capital Territory. Our sort of like your Washington, if you can relate that. So Washington. This is where all our parliament is and politicians and stuff like that. They're all here in the ACT. It's a little tiny territory inside New South Wales. So New South Wales is the state here. You can see on the outside, and then the ACT is just this little bit here. So there you go. And then you've got Queensland, South Australia, Northern Territory, and Western Australia. And then there's some island, and then Tasmania down here. This is where the massacre was in the 90s. That not Hobart. Now I'm confusing myself. The massacre down here was down here near Launceston, I think. So there you go. Some Australian geography. Geography. Yeah, the little blob. That's what we all call it. The little blob. No, we don't call the ACT that. But that's what it looks like on that map. That map is terrible. Yeah, there you go. Some little geography lesson. Yeah, what else have we got for so there you go. If you guys wanted to know, our state flag looks very much like the Australian flag, except we have a crown on it. And that's our coat of arms. Look, it's got a kangaroo, and he's holding a crown. We like that crown, don't we? I guess for Crown Victoria? I don't know. I got no idea. And then it got like a knight's helmet, and then two women holding holding a cornucopia or something, and this one holding some national leaf or plant. There you go. So I don't know if I can get a total air square size. So Victoria is 91,760 square miles of land. So if you wanted to know how big it was, there you go. Oh, no, wait, it's 87,817 square miles, and including water, it's 91,000 square miles. There you go. Alright, so there's a little bit of background on where this crime took place. Catatonic says, "I'm in Queensland at the moment." Oh, hey, Catatonic. Glad to have an Aussie here. Um, Catatonic says, "I wonder if ex-husband was seeking custody." Not that I know of. I know that he was accused of being an absentee father, but that came from Erin, so I don't know if that's a trusted source or not. Give me 2 seconds. I just want to fix something with my microphone. By the way, we have a viewer out there, Cheated No More. Cheated No More is a great um, supporter and viewer of this channel. She has a husband called John, and John is a fan of the channel, but he's not in a position to comment, and that he's a busy guy, so he just listens and watches when he can. I would like to give John a shout out. John, if you're out there with your lovely partner, Cheated No More, this is a shout out for you, coming to you live from Australia. So that is just for you, John, and Cheated No More. Thanks for everything you do for the channel. And I want to say thank you to Laura T. Laura T, I just saw that donation come through. Thank you so much. That is very, very kind. If anyone else would like to support this kind of coverage, and that's what I'm doing now almost full time, that would be great. And I would appreciate it. So if you'd like to be like Laura T, and support the channel and, support this kind of coverage, I would appreciate it. It means a lot, and we're working hard here to do more and more shows on this channel. Like today, we've done two already. So, and then I'll be back in the morning to cover the court case at 9 a.m. So it's a busy 24 hours. But Laura T, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I just want to have a look here. By the way, some people always ask me what's a great documentary I suggest. There's a documentary called Shandy's Story: The Search for Justice, based on a. Oops, don't do that. If you'd like to watch it, I can put a link in the chat. It's a great documentary. It's a good one because people always ask me for recommendations. Oh, you messaged Nana Lana to tell her she may be asleep. Maybe she drifted off and had a snooze. Maybe she doesn't know that Erin Patterson has been charged with murder. How will we ever cope if Nana Lana doesn't know? Yeah, that documentary is quite good, done by a journalist down here who did a great job on that case. It also touches on the DNA failure that was done in the Queensland labs. We spoke about that, how many of the court cases were thrown out or put into jeopardy because of poor control of DNA samples in Queensland's crime lab. So, Shandy's story actually is one of the ones that got picked up, and her murderer may have been let out and not convicted because of insufficiencies in the crime lab and DNA testing, which is really, really sad. It's really sad. Oh, hold on. Oh, Kathy Lynch says, PayPal alert. Oh, okay, thank you, my dear. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I'm Steve looking at breaking news. Yeah, I'll put that up there. Uh, oh, Kathy, that is extremely kind of you. It is very, very kind from my friend from Tennessee. I very much appreciate it. Great supporter of this channel, and a lot of encouragement from Kathy Lynch. She always tells me I'm doing a good job and to keep going. So very much appreciate it. Thank you. It is amazing. Oh, Wu says she'll find out as soon as she looks at her Facebook messages. I know, that's what I felt like. Everyone messaged me when as soon as the news came out, everyone started emailing me, and I'm like, "Guys, I already know." I was like the first one on it because I got the news, like, before everyone else. I don't wanna say how, but I was able to get the news through someone about 2 minutes before it became public. So, I was right on it, and because I got a friend in the media down here, so, they let me know that it was coming. Oh, you guys are very kind. Thank you, Catatonic and, Kathy Lynch. Laura G says PayPal alert. Oh, you guys are sweet. Laura Gandy. Oh, Laura G. Geez, I'm doxing everyone here tonight. Laura G, thank you so much. She said, thanks, Ping. I'm just doxing everyone, just like I did to Cockatiel. We're going to have to put you in witness protection, Laura G. Or I'm going to have to start just not reading them on the air. See, I'm doing bad this week. I gave away Trisha's Halloween thing and, oh, Ping. I think I'm tired. I think I'm tired, guys. It's been a long day. Actually, news broke of the raid at like 8 a.m. in the morning. I had just woken up and my thing went mental. And I was like, oh no, um, I've got to get on this. And then we ran our first live a couple of hours later at about 11 a.m. And then I've been going since then. I think we finished at 1:30. I took a break for a little bit, did my workout and stuff, and then I came back at 5 expecting more news because I knew there would have to be they'd either have to release Erin Patterson, apply to hold her for a bit longer overnight, or the charges were coming. And I was pretty confident that we'd get charges by about 8 o'clock at night. I was 100% sure almost because they just don't do that down here. They don't raid you and then take you in for questioning if they're not willing to press those charges. So I want to know what happened in her interview. That's what I want to know. Paygirl says kids are off to school. I'm back. Hey Paygirl, how are you? I'm glad your kids made it to school. Kathy Lynch says, do we have any male subs? Well, we have a couple. Who do we have? We have Danny Mitchell. We have the floating head. The floating head's male. Gambler is male. I don't know who else we have that's male. Might have a couple more. No audio. I'm not muted, my dear. I'm not muted, Catatonic. Marilyn Landis says, love the series The Thornbirds set in Queensland. I haven't seen that one. Laura G, I'm sorry, my dear. She says it's okay. There are seven of us in the US and 4 in MD alone. Oh wow. That's good. You got you can hide in plain sight. You should commit a murder under your name. Nice to see you too, Paygirl. Laura Wu says they probably drilled her and made her cry. You reckon? I don't think so. This is what I think happened. I think they confronted her. Well, this is how I think it started. I think they started asking her the hard questions. Where did the mushrooms come from? You know, how do you think people got sick? That type of stuff. When she kind of gave her crap answers like, oh, I can't remember, and it was someplace in Melbourne I hadn't been before, and now I can't remember where that shop was. I think then they confronted her with the evidence that they've got, and then I think she lawyered up. I think she called her lawyer and said, I want a lawyer. And I think the police then said, okay, well, we're charging you with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. And that was it because it was over and done very quickly for such a substantial case of so many people. I mean, 5 hours is not long. I've seen murder suspects interviewed for days, 2 days, into the morning, 2 a.m., 4 a.m. So this was quick. This was over and done with. So I think she lawyered up once they gave her the evidence against her. I think she stopped talking. Right. Wu said she had been going through her lawyers between the poisonings, yeah, and today. Exactly. And her lawyer was up there. There's a video. I think, did I show you guys? Did I show you guys? I think I did. Yeah, this is here. I'll show you. This is her lawyer leaving. This is her lawyer right there, leaving the police station. And that was earlier. It's still daylight at that time. So that maybe before 7? What time was that? It says 7:26, but it would have taken them a while to get the video up. So I'm suspecting that's about 6 o'clock, maybe 5 o'clock. And so yeah, it was over and done with quite quickly because she got there about what time did she get there? It takes about half an hour to get from her place to Wonthaggi, so I don't have the other video. There was another video showing her arriving at the police station earlier, but you can see this one, the homicide detectives nicked off at, like, when her lawyer left, so did the homicide detectives. So that's when they told her they were try vehicles and leaving, so they are gone. So it's been a wild day, it really has. After I went on that, like 20-minute rant about this thing taking forever and there's no updates, and they must have heard me. They really must have. They must have been watching my show, and they're like, "We can't let this guy, say bad things about me." Casey says not Casey 9420. Can you use dark mode? I am actually on dark mode. I don't know how to make the white. I'm actually using dark mode right now. Because I use it for my eyes too, but I don't know how to make these white pages dark and make the lettering white. I don't know how to make that happen. I know it sucks. Here you go. I'll change you to here. There you go. See, you can see I'm using dark mode on here as well. There you go. I changed it to the dark one for you. I know it's early wherever you are. Let me just see. Reby says poisoning is such a female crime. I agree. Sort of like the Black Widow type deal, having females do poisoning events. It's happened quite a lot, especially in the US. Hey Casey, good to see you by the way, Casey. I think you're new to the channel and glad to have you. Casey says thank you for that and sorry for that. No, that's okay. I totally get it. Reby says, "I thought the same ping, but I thought we might wake up to news tomorrow morning." Yeah, I had a thought that we might not get it until early hours in the morning, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. That has happened in previous murders, like Adrian. Um, hold on, I'll look up the name. Oh, Adrian Bailey. If you guys know Adrian Bailey, Adrian Bailey killed Jill Meager, and I'm pretty sure that came out at like 2 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. It was real early. So I was suspecting something similar to that. If you don't know about Jill Meager and her murder, go look it up and watch one of the documentaries about it. It's one of the most brutal crimes and one of the biggest lapses in justice system in Victoria that I can ever think of. I don't think we have too much more for tonight, guys. I'll have more tomorrow when we head to court. Court will be probably like 9 a.m. and I will be trying to get as much video out as I can. There you go. You can see her leaving for people who didn't see it. She's traveling to Morwell for court in the morning, and you can see all the press shoving the cameras up at the window. I thought this was interesting. Watch this. The car comes out, right? And it's here, and the cops know there's all this media, and then the car stops just long enough for the media to get their photos. See? There's no car in the street. I had a look. I don't think so. Look at this. There's no headlights coming down the other way. There's no headlights coming off that way or anything, so they're not waiting for a car. You can see right there, there's no car here. And it's almost like they let the media get their photos, see? And then the car takes off. Look, about good 10 seconds. And now the car leaves. Almost like they're like, well, these guys have been waiting out here for 5 hours. We should, you know, We should let them get their photos. Catatonic says, such a horrendous slow death for these elderly folks. Despicable woman. Hey, Potter, good to see you. Oh, Potter, you're a guy, right? Are you one of my male subscribers? I can't remember, Potter. Sorry, we were asking about male subscribers before. Um, Catatonic, I think you bring up a great point. How slow and agonizing their death must have been. I heard it described as your liver basically melts from the poison. You can imagine how excruciating that would have been for the victims. And she put 4 people through that. 3 died and 1 had to have a liver transplant. Oh, you're a girly SWAT. Okay. Hey, Miko. Good to see you. Someone needs to give her some mushrooms in her jail food and say, oops, sorry, don't know where they came from. I agree. She needs a taste of her own medicine. Happy to have you here, Miko. I know we're up at a weird time, so we're probably attracting people that can't normally make it to the live show, which is kind of cool. Reeve says, and an Aussie girly SWAT. Yeah. Potter says, I'm allergic to mushrooms. Are you? You know, I told you guys that I have actually had mushroom poisoning, and luckily it wasn't a death cap, but I was ill, real ill for like 3 days to the point of like passing out in the bathroom. I'd like pass out in cold sweat and wake up like 45 minutes later with my face on the porcelain. I was so ill and I never want to experience that type of poisoning again ever. It has been I've never been so sick ever like in my life since then. It was so brutal and so hard. It was really, really awful. So if that is like a tenth of what these people had having death caps, I can't imagine how sick they must have been before they died. It would have been just unfathomable, like really bad. Because yeah, you don't ever want to get sick from mushrooms. They're awful. Kazati says it's 11 a.m. in the UK. What a treat. Thanks, Ping. Hey, Kazati, good to have you. It's nice to see you in the chat for once. So yeah, if you guys weren't here to start the show, Erin Patterson, the lady who prepared a mushroom meal, her beef. Uh, God, now I'm having mental blanks. It was a beef Wellington. The woman who prepared a beef Wellington for her guests, 4 people. Uh, 3 of them died. 1 of them survived. Had to have a liver transplant. And for 2 months, we've been waiting on an update to this case. Well, today her house was raided by the police, a murder squad, and they brought her in for questioning. And then 5 hours later, she was charged with 5 counts of attempted murder, 3 counts of murder, and she is due in court tomorrow around 9 a.m. for a bail hearing, I guess, which will probably be formally refused, and she will be remanded into custody. Uh, Aussie, Aussies, how do we define SWAT? I have no idea. You guys can define it in the chat. All right, guys. I hope you guys are having a great morning. Interesting news coming out of Australia this morning for your UK and USA. Not ping at night or nights with ping. It's mornings with ping today. So mornings with ping. You need to grab a coffee and get a bagel, eat some food, maybe a yogurt or a muffin, and get your true crime going for the morning. I'm not sure how many Australians are even going to be up because we're starting to. It's 10 o'clock now, 10:08 p.m. here in Australia, actually, right now. And actually, I'm starting to get hungry too. So we may wind down in a second. It's going to be a busy day tomorrow with court. And yeah, I don't think we have too much more unless I can have a quick look and see if we got any more information. It doesn't look like it. I think that's probably all we're gonna get until court tomorrow, and we're gonna find out more about the individual charges. Because today all they released was a statement just saying that, at 7:19 PM, homicide squad detectives have charged a woman this afternoon as part of their investigation into the deaths of 3 people following an incident in Leongatha earlier this year. The 49-year-old woman was arrested this morning and interviewed by police. The Leongatha woman has subsequently been charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. She was remanded in custody to appear at Latrobe Valley Magistrates Court tomorrow morning. So, where's Latrobe Valley Magistrates Court? In Morwell. So that's where they were taking her when they were leaving the other police station. They were taking her to Morwell for court in the morning. So there's probably a secure lockup either within the court or near it at a police station, or there might even be a jail nearby that she'll go to. I'd say there's probably a secure police thing right near the court, if not at the court. Yeah, there is. It's right next door. There's a Morwell police station. So she will be probably either in there or somewhere like right next to it. So it's only about what, like a 1 minute walk between Morwell police station and Latrobe Valley Magistrates Court. They're just on opposite streets basically. So not far to go. She'll be transferred in the morning to court. Miko says, "Is this case close to home for you, Ping?" Yes, I live in Victoria. I live in Melbourne, though. This case happened in what we call regional Victoria, which is like our rural areas. It's what we call the country. So about an hour and a half outside of Melbourne. So a little bit outside of the CBD kind of areas. I guess the way you guys would explain it would be rural, and that we would just call it the country. So yeah, it is local, but it's not really the bush, eh, Potter? You reckon it's a bush? I guess some regions out there are. Just depends. Everyone has sort of a different name for it, but it's just rural areas, not the city. And I live in the city, so. Marilyn Lander says, "Hungry? No mushrooms." No, I'm not having any mushrooms for dinner. I promise. I don't know what I'm having for dinner. I haven't even thought about it yet. I haven't even thought about anything about eating yet today. I had a protein shake earlier and a muffin, and that's it. But yeah, we'll probably wrap up in about 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, something like that. Miko says, "Are those type of mushrooms found in the US as well?" Yeah, I believe death caps are found pretty much worldwide, and they basically grow everywhere. I think, Potter, was it you that told us about the case in America where there was some US people that were killed by death caps? Someone made a meal and included mushrooms they had foraged in the US, and they ended up being death cap mushrooms. And I think most of them died. One of them survived. Very similar situation to what happened down here, but I cannot remember. Hey, Share Bear, good to see you. Oh, it wasn't you, Potter? My mistake. Sorry about that. Let me see. Let me just see. I'm trying to find if there was one in the USA. Da, da, da. Hmm. I know we did read about one, but here's an article. It says here, death cap mushrooms are spreading across North America. Uh, they're saying that they have started like infiltrating a lot of woods and different brush areas across the US. Someone said in British Columbia they find them. So they like to grow near oak trees. So, and I know America gets a lot of oak trees. They have a lot of oak, and anywhere you find oak trees, you probably find death caps. I'm pretty sure. So they find them in Western Canada, British Columbia, and some parts of the US as well. Just trying to find out if there's any regions. So, on average, one person a year has died in North America from ingesting death cap mushrooms, though that number is rising as the mushrooms spread. More than 30 death cap poisonings were reported in 2012, including 3 fatalities, while 2013 saw 5 cases and no deaths. In 2014, 2 people died of death cap poisoning in California. A third person died that year in Vancouver after a Canada man traveled to California, ate the mushrooms as part of a meal, and returned to Vancouver where he became ill and died. So as you can see, they're sort of all over the place. The first death caps to appear on the West Coast hit Northern California in 1938. Since then, the mushrooms have been a constant menace to people in the Bay Area. Vo said an outbreak of poisonings typically follows a rainy season. In November 2016, after a long dry spell of weather, copious rain, um, the Bay Area Mycological Society got in touch with the California Poison Control System hotline, warning that death caps were sprouting up. 5 days after that, they started getting calls. A part of a cluster of 14 poisonings in the fall of 2016, a Bay Area family grilled wild mushrooms gathered by a friend, not knowing they were death caps. They were eaten by the young mother and father, their 18-month-old daughter, and 2 other adults. The parents and a third adult underwent aggressive fluid treatments and were released from hospital after a couple of days, while the fourth adult and the child required liver transplants. In the process, the little girl who reportedly ate half a mushroom suffered what Vo described as permanent neurological impairment and is no longer able to feed herself or follow commands. Wow, that's really sad. So you hear these kind of symptoms that I just read out? Things like some people were okay after aggressive fluid treatments and were released from hospital after a couple of days. Other people needed liver transplants. Erin Patterson killed 3 people, and the fourth one needed a liver transplant. So how much of that mushroom was in that dish? If these people ate the mushrooms raw and they survived, how many did she put in that bloody Wellington? It had to be a whole heap, right? Oh, catatonic, good night. I know it's getting late here. Sorry, I got off track about USA poisoning episodes. Yeah, we'll wrap up now, but yeah, just think of that. Oh, what did she say? Potter snuck the camera into the electrocution room. Oh no. Potter. Ping. I watched a video on YouTube of a woman who was electrocuted for her crime and caught on camera by someone who snuck a camera in. Oh my god. Electrocuted for her crime. Like one of those old school, they put the cap on them and fry their brains type thing. You would think so, Share Bear, right? Wouldn't that show intent? She says. Yeah, I believe. Potter says yes, probably made a whole sauce. I had to be like dozens or something like that, man. It had to be dozens of mushrooms. I know in the 60 Minutes episode they said it would have to be something like um what do you call it? It would have to be so many per person because just one or something wouldn't cause the death that they saw of the people. It wouldn't be like that. It would be like they would just get sick and they'd probably recover with some illness. But the fact that like 3 of them just died after 3 days, the amount that they were saying would have to be like 3 or 4 or 5 mushrooms per person. So it would have to be she would have to have like a whole basket of them. Miko says, "I don't mind mushrooms, but I think from here on out I will avoid them." I think, Miko, as long as you buy them from a reputable supermarket, you're probably fine. This was done with wild mushrooms, I'm almost sure of it. Laura G says beef Wellington has a mushroom paste on top of the beef, so it may have been several. No, I think it was like 20 or like 15, not like several, like, 2 dozen or something. Because the toxicologist on the 60 Minutes episode said it would have to be like three or 4 or 5 mushrooms per person, and there was 4 people. It would have to be quite a lot. It's not like she just had 1 or 2 and they accidentally made it in. I think, yeah, it would have had to have been quite a more than enough to know what they were. If that's my opinion. More than enough to know that they were death caps, because she had knowledge as a forager. So she's not gonna look at these mushrooms and be like, "Oh my god, they look like button mushrooms from the supermarket." No, no, no. She's gonna definitely know that with a basket of them, that they were death caps. So we'll see. She's gonna go through the court system now, and now it's up to our, people of, our juries and the lawyers and the state and the police to put a good case together to make sure justice is served for 3 people who died and a bunch of other people who were injured. That's it. That's how it is. All right, before we go for the night, I had another donation come through. I just want to read it out. It was from my friend Potter. Potter, you don't have to do that. That's fine. It's all good. I'm just happy to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. I was actually a little worried about you, but I do appreciate it. Thank you. Um, you know, I'm always welcome. I'm always happy to return donations to people if they need it. So if you want to, if anyone makes a mistake or whatever, I'm always happy to return it. But I do appreciate it, and I've always loved having you here, Potter. I was actually really worried about you because I hadn't seen you in like 2 months at one point. I was like, "Where are you?" And I was really, really worried. Casey, hey Casey. Casey says, "Do you think the delay in the case was investigating the previous 2020 to 2021 case?" Um, no, I think it was probably a bunch of things. I think yes, they were probably trying to look into what happened there, but I also think it was probably waiting on toxicology and things like that. I also think they were just trying to get everything in line so they could bring this many charges. It's such a vast victimhood of people. You've got 4 this year, then the husband. It's a larger case, and I think we all realize, one person in a murder case is difficult. So, it's hard. Potter says, "My op is scheduled now, so I am ecstatic." Hey, congratulations. I hope whatever it is, it fixes it. I hope so. I don't want to see anyone in pain. Casey, I do think the 2020 and the 2021 cases are sort of like a key to this whole thing. It's sort of like the early parts of her poisoning people, and it could actually provide a lot of information about her motive and why she did it. Ah, Potter, that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. I hope the surgery is successful. I really do. Reby, Ping, how silly are you? She's the victim. Nah, sorry. I didn't mean to say she's the victim. I meant to say she has many victims. Yeah, we're going to have a whole court case for this. So we will be, we'll have a million things to go through. Yeah, Pegel, see you later. We're going to go to, we're going to wrap up now. It's getting late and I haven't eaten yet. So we are going to wrap up for the night. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it, guys and ladies. I appreciate it. I appreciate the donations. Really helps. And I'll be back at 9 a.m. in the morning. I'll probably go on a little bit after her court session, and I'll probably be on about the same time as I did yesterday, like 11:30 or something like that. And then I'll lead you into Trisha's show at 10:30 p.m. So thanks for being here. I love everyone, and thanks for the thumbs up and everything. You guys are amazing, and it's been a long day. I'm gonna go eat and get some sleep. So until tomorrow, my name's Ping. This is Nights with Ping coming to you live from Melbourne. And good night or good morning wherever you are. See you later.